Oh, big announcement coming up. Please welcome the brilliant Bob Geldof and Craige Els.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
You said, if you're listening in bed, what time is it?
Don't swear.
That's what's
You
wrong.
nearly
I
swore
didn't
then.
swear.
You nearly swore.
It's just a matter
we
of
all
time.
heard it. You might as well have said it. I heard it louder than if you hadn't said it.
Get out of bed. No wonder we're going to get all our taxes raised in a couple of
hang on a
days.
second. I've got to talk to Craig now, because otherwise, Craig, you're not getting the word in edgeways. You know this, don't you?
Yeah.
So Bob Geldof is with us. Craige Els is with us. Who's going to make the big announcement? You or Craig?
I think it should be
Craig.
Bob.
Craig. Go on, Craig. Fill your boots.
My big announcement, or
Yeah.
the big announcement, is that the show will be in the West End.
Hold on. We got to tell him what the show is.
What is the show?
He's an amateur.
That's a good start.
Okay,
Sorry.
Evans.
It wasn't in my script. The show, just for one day,
Yeah.
the Live Aid musical will be in the West End from next spring.
Okay, so this is 2026.
Yeah, because we can't get a theatre until then.
Yeah, all right.
So it was the fastest selling show ever in the Old Vic's history.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
No,
it was
I know,
announced.
I know.
Did you see it? No.
No, I didn't see
Because
it.
you
but
couldn't
I know
get
all
a
about
free
it.
ticket.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
It was like Oasis.
I tried to get tickets.
This
you
is
said,
like
don't
Oasis.
Let him in, is what you said.
When we put just for one day on sale,
Yeah.
you know, unbelievable.
Because everybody
if you
thought it was
don't get it now, it's 5,000 quid in 10 seconds.
But it only sold so well because everybody thought it was a David Bowie musical. Just for one day. No, they didn't. I know they didn't.
They didn't.
I know they didn't.
You know. Anyway, fastest selling
Yeah.
show in the Old Vic's history. We couldn't take it out of the Old Vic into the West End.
So what
'cause
have you done?
It was packed. So I'm going to Canada tomorrow, where it opens in January through to March,
Mm-hmm.
already sold out. And it comes back to the West End the first time we can get it in, which is the Shaftesbury Theatre, which is brilliant, in May. And we're going to close off Shaftesbury Avenue.
Yep.
And have the cast broadcast live on Tuesday screens through Shaftesbury on, not the opening in May, but on July the 13th, 2025, 40 years after Live Aid itself.
Superb.
It is superb. And then the BBC are doing 3 one-hour documentaries, CNN 4, 45 minutes, IMAX film.
Are you going to be in them?
It's weird because you were around. It's weird.
I was around.
You just don't expect these things to reverberate down the decades.
Craig, how'd you get involved?
The usual process for an actor. I was brought in for a workshop, which sort of got developed, and then luckily it transpired to the show at the Old Vic.
And you play this guy?
I played this guy.
Look at him. This guy's. Look at him. Look at the size of the man.
I know.
I'm a dweeb.
I know.
Look at him. He's so
I like that
stacked.
though. It's cool. It's different. Because you don't want somebody doing a sort of pale imitation of you, because how can they? Even if it was any good, it'd still be pale.
No, but I tell you, Evans, I mean, if you go into the workshop, I thought only mechanics did workshops, but no, apparently actors do it.
Yeah,
you know.
and by the way, very well.
Yeah.
So, how is it? Are you smashing it? How many songs do you sing? Because you know, Bob's been playing Bob forever anyway.
Of course.
Okay. Then there's Bob Geldof. There's Bobby Boomtown, who I'm sure you're aware of. Would you like to enlighten the listeners to who that might be and how you've sort of tiptoed the tightrope between the two of them?
Bobby Boomtown.
Yeah.
Bobby Boomtown to Bob that everybody knows. Well, I guess, yeah, the image of Bob through the years has been interesting because there is Bobby Boomtown, and then there's the spitting image Bob, which I think most people would have been aware of in the 80s, which sort of tells you one thing. And then there's, I guess, my Bob on stage, which takes all of those Bobs in. The multi-Bob, if you will. And, yeah, it's got its challenges.
I love
He
it.
sounds nothing like me. You know.
What, on stage?
No, he just
Do-
said,
do-
"I should be going. I'm Bob Geldof. Hello." You know.
That's how you sound.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks, Chris. And everyone going.
Thanks, Nick and Zach.
You know, I went to the rehearsal. I go, "You sound nothing like." Yeah, sure I do. Good luck. You know.
Now you sound like Noel Fitzpatrick.
You know, no, but I tell you,
Come on.
as you pointed out, it's hard enough trying to be me. Never mind watching somebody pretending to be
At
me.
least he gets a rest from being you. You wake up
He
with
gets
you.
paid for being me, unlike me.
Oh my gosh.
You
You
know,
never know where life's going to take you. But
So this is about what the events before Live Aid or leading up to Live Aid or how it came about. How does it work?
I didn't want the producer Jamie Wilson and the scriptwriter John O'Farrell, who was, Craig mentioned, one of the original spitting image writers.
Right.
You might know, Mrs. Doubtfire, he did all that stuff
Yeah.
and that. They came and said, we want to do it. And the 50th and 40th anniversary was coming up, and they said, we will give Band Aid 10% of the net. So if this runs for years, I don't want to get all serious on your show, but I know you're into it, so can we pause a second? with so much going on with Ukraine, with Gaza, with, elections that are very iffy coming up across Europe and America, with people worried about cost of living and, inflation, it's very hard for people to have the mental bandwidth to deal with any other concern in the world or horror in the world. It's hard. You turn on the news, it's harder and harder to turn on the news. The reality is what this country and the people in this country have been doing for 40 years has been huge. So Band-Aid happens every single day. I wake up to minimum 12 emails describing the horrors that are happening currently from people on the ground. And I think the end of last week we did 1.2 million to the UN refugees for people, 2.9 million people about to die in Sudan from war and hunger. So we're talking about exhausted mothers and panicked children running for their lives, and Band-Aid still tries to feed them, make them warm for the night, maybe get them educated, a bit of shelter still. So that's what started 40 years ago with a little Christmas song.
Brilliant.
Daily it continues, and this is a celebration of that. And Just for One Day, named after the classic Bowie song Heroes, and David introduced the first single anyway on television. 10% of that will go towards continuing that, as will all the celebrations next year. You move away from that, and it's the arc of British pop over 40 years. So if you take the 3 Band-Aid records, 84, 04, 14, the house band, Stand By Evans, because you kind of forget this, that's me, not you, because people actually want to speak to me and they don't really ever want to even meet you. But the arc of this is the house band, Paul McCartney, Phil Collins and Roger Taylor from Queen on drums, Johnny Greenwood and Tom York from Radiohead, Damon Albarn, Paul Weller, Gary Kemp on guitar. That's the house band. And I asked Trevor Horn, if you remember, the great producer of...
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
Okay, Trevor. Yeah. So I said, can we take these 3 official records and have a very young Sting singing with the very young Sam Smith? Can we have a very young Bono singing with the very young Ed Sheeran? Can we have a very young Simon Le Bon singing with, whomever, like that thing? And I said, how? And I said, we just put them together in one song. So he's done it. And it is unbelievable. And when you're off air, I'll show you the rough cut of the video. It looks like these 40 years have disappeared into just these greatest musicians all in one room. And I'm off this afternoon to do all the whiz-bang stuff to make it actually look like they're in one room.
So when is this out?
On the anniversary of the Band-Aid record, November 24th. So it'll go out simultaneously. And but honestly, I just showed it to Craig and I showed it to Jamie, the producer, just for one day.
It's wonderful.
Craig gives you a hot take on it. Come on.
It's really wonderful. It sort of brings it back to what it's all about, which I guess is the essence of, Bob completely, and the essence of the show as well. Right.
And what about an anniversary gig?
No, because that won't work. But, it all worked because it was all so good. That's really it. The record, it turns out, was really good. I didn't think so at the time, but it's really good. The concert, it's not Bob saying this, I think everyone agrees, was maybe the greatest concert of our time. Or maybe, obviously, it lasts and resonates. And the play is really good.
So play, not musical. Is it a musical?
It is a musical. Yeah. And the songs are all the songs from Live Aid. Brilliant. But it's not people pretending to be, Freddie Mercury or people pretending to be this, that and the other. They're worked around the drama of the characters.
The sentiment of the song.
Yeah, works around the character without who's ever on the stage and driving the thing. So it's the only show, and I really mean it. I like musicals. I start with Oklahoma. I made an album called Under the Influence, which Weller did and a few others. It starts with the overture of Oklahoma. You've no musical history, Chris. I don't know what you're doing on the radio. I have. I know my music.
Oklahoma, here we come. Here we come.
Exactly.
Here we come. I know
so when you're driving home,
yes.
Here's a tip. I heard you crapping on about cars before we came on.
Sorry
again.
About that. I thought Bob's,
please get the overture to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
When you're driving down an English country road on a summer's day, turn it up, and you just go, oh God.
Oh,
This is the automotive experience.
Love it.
Okay.
All right, can Craig talk for a little bit?
I love Oklahoma.
He should do me. He should talk as me.
Okay, it's up to you if you want to do your Bob.
I could try if you wish.
See,
Just,
that's
you know,
perfect.
for a
That is
moment.
exactly what you sound like.
It is. It's
like having two Bobs in the room. So, where does the story start? What happens on stage? How exciting is it? When you played the first night at the Old Vic, fastest selling thing ever to be on at the Old Vic. What was it like? Expectations, blah blah blah.
It is a genuinely thrilling show. One of the best shows I've ever been part of, and I guess the essence of it is the story of the Band Aid single and the Live Aid concert.
Right.
How it happened, why it happened, and all of the people involved in that who worked, as Bob said, for free.
So scenes, give us some idea of the scenes that we see.
There are scenes with Bob and Midge while they're sort of creating the Band Aid single.
Where are they? Bedrooms, pubs?
Yeah. So sort of, right, was it your house or Midge's house, Bob?
Initially my house, but it's a very...
Don't lose interest because it's not about you. Come close to the microphone.
He's not skilled in this PR stuff, being an actor.
He's giving it a go. I like it. Go on, carry on.
We have also got scenes in the studio while all of the artists sort of record the Band Aid single.
So who do we see? Caricatured.
You see, well,
all of them.
And as Bob said, it's not really
Thatcher.
caricatures. Yeah,
Right.
caricature Thatcher. Margaret
And me.
Thatcher's hysterical.
Okay.
By the wonderful
so
Julie
Thatcher,
Addison.
but an actor playing Margaret Thatcher or
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
image or
Fantastic actress
okay,
called
any
Julie
footage?
Addison.
Should we see any footage back in the day, or what happens? What else happens?
Okay, so to describe the stage is fairly spare, which I wanted Oklahoma, obviously, but no, and it works very well. I mean, look, I brought Roger Taylor from Queen, I brought Pete Townsend, I brought a load of Gary Kemp, brought a load of people to see it, and so these guys, they've done every show in the world.
Yeah.
Taylor was sitting in front of me, and when he heard, the Queen song, he just when he heard Bob Dylan's song, and he's a Bob Dylan freak, Roger, he just turned around, he went, "Oh my God." And there's a double album coming out because it has to come out. The music, honest to God, the music, how many times have you heard these songs? Blowing in the Wind is a musical cliche until it isn't. And then it resonates, it just reverberates and why it's important. And the musical director stripped these songs apart and put them back together. Pete Townsend heard My Generation sung by an 18-year-old girl for her generation and he just went, I thought he was going to re-record it there and then and put it out now. But it's
great.
And if you're a musician, you're just going, how do you reimagine these things for today? And I've never been to the theatre. I have never been to the theatre where in the intermission the actors get a standing ovation
No way.
and they're called out but they won't come.
Come on, that's so
It's
cool.
it's incredible.
Did that really happen, Craig?
It's amazing. I've never been in a show like it where there's a standing
What was
ovation
that like?
every single
So when
evening.
you're driving home that night, or however you got home, you're thinking, well, we're all right with this one then.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Because
pinch
showbiz
me.
is often the best it gets is relief, isn't it?
For sure.
Sometimes.
But for every night when the audience is on its feet and you can see in their faces that they've been taken somewhere and they've had the
my
best night of
gosh.
their lives.
So
That's
where
all-
is
that's
it
all you
now?
want.
Where is it tonight? Is it playing tonight?
Not on. It'll be on, in, as I say, in Canada, in Toronto.
So Canada's next up.
Yeah.
Are you going to Canada?
Yeah.
Nice.
So, so I'm going over there. I'm going to plug the Boomtown Rats 50th. Thank you very much for getting around to what I actually do and trying to make a bit of wedge.
So isn't it convenient that it's the Rats 50th and Live Aid's 40th?
It's not convenient because it's only because we're 50 and it's 40 that I twigged that we were 10 years doing
Well,
this.
it is convenient.
Well, yeah, but the reason I could call everyone, I could call George Michael, I could call Bono, I could call Sting,
Right.
was they were essentially contemporaries, except for the new lot like Duran and Spandau and that. And it's this time I've realised that it happened 10 years into what we were doing, and that actually didn't work for the band because we had a new album out, and I saw the BBC News, I saw what was happening in Ethiopia, and I couldn't go on Terry Wogan. I couldn't go on and say, hey, Terry and the Rats have got a new album. I could only go, we have to do this thing, and we're going to do it, and I need you to buy this record. I've seen the outtakes. We've just put together for the first time ever all the outtakes from, film outtakes from recording of Do They Know It's Christmas, and it's fantastic. George Michael is talking to Paula Yates, my missus, And she says, "Are you enjoying it?" He goes, "Yeah, sort of." He says, I get nervous around pop stars. He says, "But I thought I was going to have my 4th number one." And she said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, I've got my own Christmas song." And she goes, "What's it called?" He goes, "It's called Last Christmas, but this will probably beat it." She said, "Sing me a bit." And he goes, "Last Christmas." He said, "But that's it. I'm not going to sing anymore." He sings a bit of it. And it's, you
and he got
realise,
to number 2, didn't it?
You know, yeah. And I think they're...
Double A side with Everything She Wants.
Yeah, exactly. So, 50 years on, 40 years on, it's kind of wrapping up a life in music for me. That's the truth.
Really? Wrapping it up?
Yeah, because everyone rushes out to buy Boomtown Rats records because you play them so much, Evans,
We play them when we can. Look, we do our little bits.
Band, well, you can buy the Greatest Hits compilation. I think there's 3 tracks on it,
So we got. I hosted the Brits when you guys won the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah.
And you played. That was amazing. Wasn't it?
Was amazing.
That was a night and a half.
And then you banned us from Carfest.
I didn't ban you from Carfest. I didn't ban you. I banned Bobby Boomtown for being the most potty-mouthed in front of a load of 12-year-olds.
Have you listened to Taylor Swift?
It's a family festival.
Have you listened to Taylor Swift's new records?
Yeah, which is why she's also banned from Carfest.
I knew there was a reason she didn't pitch up this year.
Of course. No, but you're welcome next year. But you can't swear that much in front of the fans. You can't. You just can't. Because we get so much grief about it.
And listen, they practically gagged me before coming in here. And of course, there's no swearing at all by Craig and Just for One Day.
Absolutely
You never do it.
No,
what is it like? Come on, Craig. What is it like?
But do you know what? It's genuine. It's brilliant, and it's a genuine honour. I'm not just saying that. It really is an honour to play this brilliant man, and the audience love it. And once you sort of get that sort of thing between the two of you, where they know you're not really him, and you know you're not really him, but they're on it and they're with you for the whole thing.
But when I go to rehearsal and I met him for the first time, he was sort of really embarrassed. And I was embarrassed. So I sort of sat in the corner. I go, no.
Oh, no.
Like that, they go.
Can you imagine?
Direct.
By the way, Craig just folded his arms. I don't blame you, mate. I had this for 3 years at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day. Oh, Bob's in on. Really? Why?
But once you got past that, having Bob in the room was fantastic.
I'm still in front of that.
Hold on, you didn't ask what it was like for me. This guy.
I don't care what it's like for you.
When I'd talk, he'd be just staring at me like this. I'd see his mouth moving like this, like that. I'd be going, what's he doing, And he'd be just looking, like staring at me with the attitude. Well,
Craig, how many songs do you sing?
I sing a few. I sing a Rat song. I sing Rat Trap. I sing Don't Like Mondays, and then I sing obviously Do They Know It's Christmas.
Yeah.
A bit of I'm Still Standing.
Wow.
With Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
Obs.
I'm still standing with Margaret Thatcher.
Love it.
Yeah,
Bob Geldof and Margaret Thatcher.
Awesome.
Honestly, it is a terrific show.
I Don't Like Mondays. When does that happen in the show?
That happens in the second act, sort of when we're in
live.
concert
So
mode.
you know that's coming.
Yeah, when we're in concert mode, yeah.
Right.
And it's a moment.
So where does it start? What's the first thing? What's the first chronological moment in the musical? What happens?
As in the very first thing that happens?
Yeah.
We have the whole company on stage.
Yeah.
And Heroes is the first song that you hear.
Okay, so but where are we in the story at the beginning of the musical?
At the very beginning, we're sort of nowhere. We're just before the story's starting to be told, just before the central characters move forward and then sort of invite Bob in to begin the telling of the story. So,
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And so we don't get any so Live Aid's in the second half.
Yeah.
And we build to and is that where it ends? No spoilers here because we know how it ends. Does it end with Live Aid?
Yeah, I guess to break it down, the first act would be the Band Aid single.
It's pretty good as a single, but this is going to be off the chain, isn't it?
The drama,
Yeah.
and it's all true, the drama is just precede into a dramatic
of course.
theatrical show. The drama is all kind of the mistakes that have been forgotten. Like, I had to ask Paul McCartney to come. Yeah. Paul hadn't played since John died. People forget that. And it was Linda, his wife, and Stella, his daughter, said, you have to do this. I wrote to Paul. I found the original letter because the archives of Band Aid go into the National Library of Ireland. And I'd found it and I was sending it off to them. And he agreed to do it, he was scared stiff. And on the drive up to Wembley from their house in Rye, I think, he was listening to the show. And he got more and more scared.
On the day?
On the day.
So you had it live on the radio?
Well, yeah, it was live. It was live across all formats.
No, I know. I'm just trying to picture Paul McCartney listening to the radio on the way to the gig.
So he's driving up and he's listening to it. And it was Linda's. He was saying, I don't think I can do this. It's been 6 years since I've played anything. And Linda said, you've got to do it. So he came. And, he's a Beatle. And there is a hierarchy in rock and roll, seriously, across all of them. I don't care who you're talking to, all the bands, he's a Beatle, respect. And justifiably so. And Paul came and said, all right, whack, yeah, great, hey, Bob, and all this stuff, And so he goes on stage to play, I said, just one song. It's the benediction, isn't it?
Yeah.
The blessing. And he came on stage to do Let It Be.
Yeah.
And everyone, no one kind of believed he was there, and everyone gathered round to watch this great song, this great artist. And he comes out on stage and he begins, when I find myself in times of trouble, bang, mic goes down. And he doesn't quite realise it at first. And then I'm at the side of the stage with Bowie and Pete Townsend and Alison Moyet, as you are. And suddenly the crowd starts singing it. And if you listen to the actual real soundtrack of Live Aid and you bring up the faders on the crowd sing it for Paul. And he just turns around, smiles at the crowd. And David says, we got to go out. Pete says, we got to go out and help him. So we just go out on stage and we start singing it. And then the mics come back on. That actually happened.
That's divine intervention.
And that's the end. And it's like when it happens at the end of the show, everyone just goes nuts, So it's just chock-a-block of the greatest hits of our time.
It was the best. I remember it. I'll never forget it. It's it was like a day like no other. And, I was born in the 60s, but I wasn't around in the 60s. If you could go back anywhere in a time machine, I would go back to the 60s as a 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old. But I was there for Live Aid, and I just feel sorry for anybody who wasn't, because they weren't born or they died like 100 years ago, because it was an unbelievably it was such a, we were all so humble, we were all so moved, and it was a great day to be a member of the human race. The world stood still.
It did. Plus it worked. What we asked for was delivered by everyone in the world. We asked them for some cash to help people they would never meet, and those people would never know they were being helped. And just a torrent of sympathy.
So here we are 40 years on. How old are you, Craig?
46.
So you were just about around.
Yeah.
Do you remember? You were 6.
I remember on the street where I grew up in Liverpool that all the windows were open, all the doors were open. It was on everyone's TV, everyone's radio. It was the event.
It was, and I wish there was something else like that now. Or every 10 years there was something to make so everybody who wasn't there knows or gets to know how we felt. Yeah. Because just thinking about it makes you feel so warm.
But it worked.
Safe inside.
Governments had to suddenly act. That was the other thing. And we were able to take that, not only the vast amounts of money, in today's terms, it's something like $500 million in 24 hours, and, force government action, which accelerates it endlessly. And people could see it, the Band-Aid ships, the Band-Aid trucks, the Band-Aid jeeps, the Band-Aid food, the Band-Aid thing. They could see that what they did sitting at home in Macclesfield had an immediate impact on someone sitting somewhere else.
And the key to it is...
And we forget that.
The key to it is we try and do it in our own little way with Carfest and with other stuff here. Getting people to part with their hard-earned cash when they're really in the mood for the right reasons is still really difficult. So the best way to do it is give them something that they can't get anywhere else, get them to buy a ticket for it or to contribute towards it.
But it has to be the best.
Of course, no, I'm coming to. And you have to over-deliver. You have to over-deliver massively, and then you get a bit of what you want and what the world needs. But you still only get a bit. So you've got to really massively under-promise, over-deliver, and you might get a tenner. Yeah. And that's that. Your version was the best version there's ever been of that, and that's why it will always resonate.
Craig, unfortunately, this is weird for him, because when he was 9 years old in Liverpool, his party trick, which his granny made him perform on the kitchen table, was to get up and be Bob Geldof.
No.
Yeah.
How come? Nobody was asked to do that.
Just to make her laugh. I don't know what. Just one of the characters that would use to make my nan laugh, and she used to love it.
And you could do Bob Geldof when you were 9.
Well, I had to go. I'm sure it
it's destiny, mate. It's destiny. It was in the car stars.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, his Bob Geldof will be infinitely better than your Paul McCartney.
I
Forever.
hope so.
And forever.
Hasn't proved
Actually,
too
to be honest, it was
great.
annoyingly all right, your Paul McCartney. Right, that's it. We're out of time. This is great. The liveaidmusical.com is where you need to go. It's not called that. It's called Just for One Day. But it is the fastest-selling musical that the OVIC has ever experienced. The liveaidmusical.com. You're buying tickets now. It says here, January 2026 at London's Shaftesbury Theatre. But it's May. Is it May or April?
It's May it opens. That's called, it's previews it's called, but that's an opening of the show.
Sorry, it's from May. That's my bad. Yeah. From May to January. And it's going to Canada for a little holiday.
What I'd love is, mainly, obviously, it's London, but on July the 13th, 2025, just so we just celebrate what we all did, where music came home on that day. As many people get down to Shaftesbury Avenue and we have a flash mob just watching the show live.
Do you know what day it is?
What?
Do you know what day it is?
Yeah, July 13th, 2025
That's the
is the
date.
anniversary.
That's the date.
Oh, day it is.
Day. It'd be great if it was a Saturday, wouldn't it?
Yeah, be very handy.
Even then, it's
a Sunday.
It's only,
It's a Sunday. It's a Sunday.
Even better.
We can have Live Aid parties in our gardens that day.
That's what we're doing.
Why don't we do that?
That's what we're doing.
Okay, we need to come up with a
Absolutely.
snappy name for it. Everybody has a Live Aid party in their garden on that Sunday.
We'll stay on this together.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm in.
All right.
Craig, it's great to meet you.
Lovely to talk
You
to
did
you.
get a few words in.
Well, listen.
To be honest,
standard.
You're punching way above your weight when you're along this side. This guy.
I know it.
That's why Midge never shuts up now. Because for a year he couldn't get a word in. That's it. Good luck with everything, Craig.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Bob.
Thanames, guys. Great to see you
You're
again.
amazing. The liveaidmusical.com. Who doesn't want to go to that? What a laugh. I haven't seen it, but at the end, does everybody sing along? Is it
Oh,
like
yeah,
a gig?
it's epic. It will be the best night we've ever had.
Great. Perfect. And 10% of all ticket sales.
Yeah.
Not profit. All ticket sales.
For years, this is.
Forever.
It's not just one off.
Okay.
This will run and run and
Go
run.
to-
And tours around the
All
country.
right,
Yada,
lovely.
yada.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Great to
you.
see you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, God. Who's this? Beamtown who?
No, are you not playing the cast version?
Virgin Radio.